Civilizations have risen and fallen all across the South American continent, and they left behind strange structures and terrifying artifacts. Join me for today's video. We're counting down 15 of the most intriguing discoveries in South America. Number 15. The Atacama Giant in Chile. The Atacama Giant is one of the biggest geoglyphs anywhere in the world, and it's a huge anthropomorphic figure that was carved into the arid landscape of the Atacama Desert in Chile. Reaching around 390 feet or 119 meters high, it was created by the indigenous people of the Atacama. This giant is believed to have been made 1,000 to 600 years ago, and it's part of a wider tradition of geoglyphs in the region, which includes over 5,000 other figures scattered across the desert. These geoglyphs were made by scraping away the dark top layer of the desert's surface to reveal the lighter ground underneath, a technique that's preserved the images for centuries in the dry, windless climate. The figure of the giant is particularly interesting as a unique backdrop for geoglyphs like this, and it's the extreme dryness that kept it so well preserved. Had it not been made there, it would have vanished a long time ago, and we have no way of knowing that creating such large imagery was commonplace. Number 14. Cueva de las Manos, Argentina. When talking about human history, we normally think about other continents like Africa and Asia, but South America has been home to people for an extremely long time too. One of the most amazing sites that proves this is the Cueva de las Manos, or the Cave of the Hands, which is in the Santa Cruz province of Argentina. The cave, in the valley of the Pinturas River, has become known for its extraordinary collection of prehistoric rock art, which is mainly stenciled handprints that date back as far as 9,000 years. The handprints, which are mostly left hands, were made using a technique known as negative painting. The artist would place their hand on the rock and blow pigments through hollow bones or directly from their mouths, leaving a significance to the creators. The art provides some insight into their social and spiritual life of these early people, showing their deep connection to the natural world. Now, the dating of the artwork at Cueva de las Manos with radiocarbon and other techniques have revealed that the site was used by successive groups of people over thousands of years, from around 7300 BCE to 700 CE. This long period of use makes the site an invaluable record of prehistoric human activity. It was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1999 in recognition of its cultural and historical significance. Efforts have been made to preserve the delicate rock art, including the implementation of protective measures and the promotion of sustainable tourism practices. Number 13. Tikal, Guatemala. Tikal, which is in the heart of the Guatemalan rainforest, is one of the most important archaeological sites that's ever been found of the ancient Mayan civilization. Situated in the Petén warfare with neighboring city-states, its location allowed it to control trade routes, and it enabled the exchange of goods such as jade, obsidian, and even exotic feathers, which contributed to its wealth and influence. The site's known for its architecture too, which includes towering pyramids, sprawling palaces, and intricately designed temples. One of the most iconic structures at Tikal is Temple 1. It's also known as Temple of the Great Jaguar, which is a pyramid that's 154 feet or 47 meters high. Next to it is Temple 2, or the Temple of the Masks, which was built to honor his wife, Lady Kalujun Unemo. These temples are part of the Great Plaza, the ceremonial heart of Tikal, which also features altars, stelae, and other significant structures. The central Acropolis, a cluster of interconnected palaces, was likely one of the more important and exclusive areas of the city, serving as the administrative and residential center for the elite members of society. Within the design of Tikal, there's also an advanced understanding of astronomy. Many more than 900 years later. Number 12. Chanquillo, Peru. Chanquillo, which can be found in the coastal desert of northern Peru, is an ancient archaeological site where there's a solar observatory that's one of the oldest known in the Americas. This complex dates to around 2,400 years ago and gave insights into the astronomical knowledge and ceremonial practices of the pre-Columbian societies. The Chanquillo site was centered around a series of 13 stone towers, known as the 13 Towers of Chanquillo, which are aligned along a north-south ridge. These towers, varying in height and spacing, are placed to mark the positions of the sunrise and sunset throughout the year. The arrangement of the towers forms a precise solar calendar, enabling ancient astronomers to determine solstices, equinoxes, and other important calendar dates by observing the sun's movement along the horizon. The towers then have two observation points, one to the east and one to the west. From these vantage points, observers could see circular plazas, storerooms, and other structures that suggest it was a hub of social and economic activity. Its discovery and the research that's happened here have taught us a lot about the architecture and astronomical capabilities of the ancient Peruvians. The site's construction techniques, including the use of carefully cut stone blocks and mortar, show a high degree of skill and engineering. The rediscovery of Chenquilo in the late 20th century, led by Peruvian archaeologist Ivan Gezi, brought a global attention to its historical significance. In 2007, the site was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site, recognizing its value as a cultural landmark and as an example of pre-Columbian astronomical knowledge. Number 11. Cochasqui, Ecuador. Cochasqui is an ancient archaeological site in northern Ecuador, and it's one of the most important sites to learn about pre-Columbian Andean cultures. It's located in the Pichincha province, about 32 miles north of Quito. It's best known for its complex of pyramids, which dates back to activities that have long since vanished. As with many sites in South America, celestial events were important in its design too. Archaeologists and researchers believe the pyramids and other structures here were built to align with the solstices and equinoxes. The presence of small carved stone markers and other features suggests that it functioned as an observatory, playing a critical role in the community's culture and agriculture. But quite what their purpose was is unknown. They might have been used for ceremonial or defensive purposes, or perhaps means of connecting different parts of the site. The site was mostly forgotten about after the Spanish conquest, but it was rediscovered in the early 20th century and has since become a focal point for archaeological research. In recent decades, efforts have been made to preserve this site and promote its cultural heritage, and today, Cochasqui is a protected archaeological park, attracting visitors who are keen to learn about the history of little-known civilizations. Number 10. Ciudad Perdida, Colombia. Ciudad Perdida is urban planning, architecture, and social organization. The city sprawls over a series of terraces carved into the mountainside, connected by a network of stone paths and staircases. It's estimated to have originally housed between 1,500 to 8,000 people, with a site that includes a central area with a large ceremonial plaza. The terraces and platforms were perfectly constructed from stone, showing advanced engineering skills and an understanding of the mountainous terrain they were built on. But it's the network of stone paths that really makes this place special. It's known as the Green Roads. They connect the various terraces and platforms, and were often bordered by retaining walls and drainage channels, so they were designed to withstand the region's heavy rainfall and steep terrain. The discovery of Ciudad Perdida in 1972 was a significant breakthrough. Local treasure hunters, known as guaqueros, stumbled upon the site while searching for valuable artifacts. The Colombian government, recognizing the site's importance, took measures to protect it and preserve it, leading to the establishment of the Ciudad to perform traditional rituals and ceremonies there. It is thankfully very well preserved, so researchers can continue to uncover the secrets that are hidden there. Number 9. Tiwanaku, Bolivia. Tiwanaku is in the highlands of western Bolivia near the southeastern shore of Lake Titicaca and is by far one of the country's most important historical sites. The ancient city thrived between 300 and 1000 CE, and it was the center of the Tiwanaku civilization, a pre-Columbian culture known for its advanced engineering, architecture, and social organization. Across the site are a series of monumental stone structures, which includes temples, pyramids, and gateways, all constructed to precise measurements. The Kalasasaya, a large ceremonial platform, is one of the most prominent structures at the site, and it's surrounded by a high stone wall and accessed by a grand staircase. Within the Kalasasaya stands the Ponce monolith, a tall stone statue covered with intricate carvings, which is believed to represent a high rankings and intricate geometric patterns. The figure, often referred to as the sun god, is thought to be a representation of Viracocha, a major deity in Andean mythology. The precise purpose of the gateway does remain a subject of debate, but it likely held significant ceremonial or astronomical importance. Socially and politically, Tiwanaku is a complex society with a hierarchical structure. The city's layout suggests a clear division of spaces for the elite residences, ceremonial centers, and commoner dwellings. Trade, too, also played a crucial role in Tiwanaku's economy, with evidence of extensive networks reaching as far as the Pacific coast and the Amazon basin. And goods like obsidian, seashells, and tropical feathers have been found at the site, many of which originate from far away, showing that this place was well connected to trade routes across the continent. Today, it is listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site and as a major tourist attraction, drawing visitors from around the planet. Ongoing research continues to uncover new aspects of the city's history, providing a deeper end of information about the political, social, and cultural life of the Maya during the classical period between the years 250 and 900. The city was established around the 5th century CE, and quickly it grew into a major center for Mayan culture and politics. Its location along the Copan River enabled trade and communication with the other Mayan city-states, and it led to it becoming an economic powerhouse. The rulers here, known as the Holy Lords, were both political leaders and religious figures. Now, one of the most impressive structures in Copan is its hieroglyphic stairway, which is on the west side of structure number 26. This grand staircase is decorated with over 2,000 glyphs, making it the longest known Mayan text. The stairway chronicles the history of the Copan dynasty, detailing the reigns of its kings and significant events, and shows the advanced knowledge of writing and mathematics possessed by the Maya. The Great Plaza of Copan is another highlight, where there's a collection of intricately carved stelae and altars. These monuments are dedicated to the city's ruling. The city had been mostly reclaimed by the jungle. Moving on to number 7, the Nazca Lines in Peru. The Nazca Lines and the coastal plains of southern Peru are one of the strangest and least understood archaeological structures in the world. They are ancient geoglyphs that were etched into the desert floor and covering an area of over 390 square miles or over 1,000 square kilometers, across which there are hundreds of figures including animals, plants, and geometric shapes. Created by the Nazca culture between 500 BCE and 500 CE, we're not sure entirely why they were created, which has led to a number of theories. The Nazca lines themselves were made by removing the dark, oxidized stones on the surface of the desert to reveal the lighter, sandy soil beneath. The figures range in size from 98 feet or 30 meters to over 660 feet or 200 meters in length, with some of the most famous designs including the hummingbird, monkey, spider, and condor. What's amazing, some lines align with the rising and setting of the sun at solstices and equinoxes. This does align with the importance of agriculture in Nazca society too, as the lines could have been used to predict seasonal changes. Another theory is that the lines had religious or ceremonial significance. The people here may have believed that the geoglyphs were pathways leading to sacred sites, or were created to be seen by their gods from the sky. The animals that are represented in the lines are thought to have held symbolic meanings related to fertility, water, and other aspects of Nazca cosmology. And the act of creating them may have been a ritualistic practice intended to appease the gods or communicate with supernatural beings. In recent years, though, advances in technology have provided some new tools for studying them. Drones and satellite imagery have allowed researchers to map the geoglyphs more accurately and discover previously unknown figures. These technologies have also helped to monitor the site for any damage caused by human activity and natural erosion. Number 6, than had previously been thought. The traditional Clovis first model was that the earliest inhabitants of the Americas arrived around 13,000 years ago via a land bridge from Siberia to Alaska. But it now looks like the initial migration may have happened through coastal routes or other pathways long before the Clovis culture emerged. The site of Taima Taima is in a dry and arid region, which means that it's surprisingly well preserved. It was first discovered in the 1960s, and subsequent excavations have uncovered a wide array of artifacts. One of the most important discoveries here is the remains of a giant prehistoric armadillo known as the glyptodont, along with evidence of human activity nearby. The presence of cut marks on the bones proves that humans hunted or scavenged these large animals and may have well played a role in the eventual extinction of them and other species. The stone tools found here include projectile points, scrapers, and other various implements that were used for hunting, cutting meat, and processing animal hides. The variety of strategies and cultural dynamics of the pre-Columbian era. It's found in the province of Pichincha, near to the town of Cayambe. This complex of fortresses is believed to have been constructed by the Cayambe people. They were part of the broader defensive network against the expanding Inca Empire, which was at the time looking to incorporate the region into its territory. The Pambamarca complex has more than a dozen fortresses. These fortresses, known locally as pucaras, were built using source stone and featured a variety of architectural features. The placement of the fortresses allowed for effective communication and coordination between them, creating a defensive network. The largest and most important fortress in the complex is Pambamarca itself, which sits on a high hill with views of the surrounding valleys and mountains. This fortress, like others in the complex, features thick stone walls, defensive ditches, and carefully positioned entry points. The Cayambe people, along with their allies, they resisted the Inca expansion fiercely. The fortress of Pambamarca played a critical role at a crucial time. Things could have turned out very differently. Number 4. Parque Nacional de Serra de Capivara, Brazil. Located in the northeastern state of Piauí, Brazil, it was established in 1979 and covers an area of 500 square miles or 1,300 square kilometers. Parque Nacional de Serra de Capivara is a particularly special and unique place that contains a large collection of prehistoric rock art. These sites contain tens of thousands of paintings and engravings, with some dating back as far as 25,000 years. These artworks depict a variety of scenes, including hunting, dancing, and daily activities. The sheer number of these images provide a comprehensive record of the cultural and social practices of prehistoric communities. It is another site that has the potential to change established theories about when people began moving to the Americas. The presence of such ancient and sophisticated artwork suggests that human occupation in this part of South America could predate to secure its status as a protected area. The remote location and limited infrastructure, though, have historically restricted access and development, which, while helping to preserve this site, also complicates efforts to promote sustainable tourism. Now, seeing as how important it is, the Brazilian government, alongside international organizations, is working to improve infrastructure, enhance visitor facilities, and promoting the park as a major tourist destination, which, in turn, will generate the income needed to protect it. Number 3. Tulor, Chile. Tulor is an ancient archaeological site in the Atacama Desert of northern Chile, and it dates back to between 800 BCE and 500 CE, so it can show a lot more about the life and culture of the early inhabitants in the Atacama Desert. This settlement covers an area of approximately 10 acres, and it's made up by a series of semicircular and circular adobe structures interconnected by narrow passageways. The walls of these structures were made from a mixture of mud and straw, which was then baked in the grains and other crops that were grown in the nearby fields. The social organization of Tulor appears to have been pretty complex and well developed. The layout of the settlement, with its interconnected structures and communal spaces, indicates a high degree of social cohesion and cooperation. The existence of specialized areas for different activities such as food preparation, storage, and communal gatherings implies a division of labor and a structured society. Interestingly, Tulor also gives us clues about the environmental adaptations of its ancient peoples. The ability to create a sustainable community in such an arid environment, including the use of irrigation channels and wells, that demonstrates an advanced understanding of hydrology and resource management. The Chilean government has implemented measures to prevent further erosion and damage to the site. These efforts include the construction of protective coverings over most of the vulnerable areas and the promotion of sustainable tourism. Today, it is a popular destination for tourists and researchers, offering a unique opportunity to explore the ancient history. There are large ceremonial structures, many of which feature deep spiral staircases that lead down to chambers that are often decorated with intricate geometric patterns, anthropomorphic figures, and animal designs painted in red, black, and white. Inside these structures, archaeologists have found a variety of artifacts, including pottery, jewelry, and tools, which show a lot about the daily life, trade networks, and cultural practices of these peoples. Tierra Adentro is also known for its impressive stone statues, which range in height from 3 to 10 feet, or 1 to 4 meters, and they depict human figures with solemn expressions, wearing elaborate headdresses and carrying ceremonial objects. The discovery and study of Tierra Adentro has significantly improved the understanding of pre-Columbian cultures in Colombia. Research conducted since the 1930s has uncovered the complexities and richness of the site, highlighting its importance as a center of cultural and religious activity. Today, it's not only a site of historical archaeological significance, but also a popular tourist spot. Visitors in Machu Picchu, Peru. So probably the most famous ancient structure in all of South America, and one of the most famous across the entire globe, Machu Picchu, which can be found high in the Andes Mountains of Peru. It's often referred to as the Lost City of the Incas. It's a 15th century citadel that shows the pinnacle of the architectural capability, astronomical understanding, and cultural pursuits of the Inca civilization. And sat at an altitude of around 7,900 feet or 2,300 meters above sea level, is believed to have been built during the reign of the Inca Emperor Pachacuti at some point between 1438 and 1472. The precise purpose of Machu Picchu does remain a subject of debate, but it's generally believed to have been a royal estate or a sacred religious site. The site contains a series of stone structures, terraces, and plazas spread over an area of about 125 square miles, or about 325 square kilometers. Across the site, you'll see stone masonry like nowhere else, which is the result of Incas cultivated a variety of crops on the terraces, including maize, potatoes, and quinoa, providing all the food that the settlement needed. Astronomy too played a significant role in their culture, and Machu Picchu is aligned to astronomical events in a number of ways. The Intihuatana stone, often referred to as the hitching post of the sun, is a ritual stone associated with the astronomic clock or calendar of the Inca, and during the solstices the stone casts no shadow, indicating the precise time of year. This suggests that Machu Picchu was also used for ceremonial purposes. While despite its importance to the Incas, Machu Picchu was relatively unknown to the outside world until its rediscovery by American historian Hiram Bingham in 1911. Bingham's expeditions brought international attention to the site, and it quickly became a focal point. Today, Machu Picchu is of course a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of the most visited tourist attractions in the world. Preservation efforts here are crucial to maintaining its longevity, as even though the Incas had advanced